We welcome our viewers here in Nigeria and around the world as we kick off the first and full business and markets week in February. I am Bosin Mofai here at Channel's global headquarters in Lagos. Nigeria's central bank this morning issued a one-page, five-paragraph statement denying the media report that is a very sleazy racket in the Nigeria's FX market of 306 naira to $1. The statement, according to the central bank, says the allegations by the newspaper was unfounded, that there's a racket that involves some officials of the central bank in sabotaging Nigeria's FX market. The central bank statement says that the newspaper is challenged to provide names and also verifiable evidence of collusion between these faceless agents and officials of the central bank who are working to perpetuate this so-called FX racket schemes. This is a breaking news as we start today's market week from the central bank. The regulator says, as most financial observers are aware, the FX rates across various markets in Nigeria are governed and regulated by the CBN and have been converging, leaving no room for arbitrage opportunities in Nigeria's FX market. The financial regulator went on to say that the agency, the CBN, will continue to act in the best interest of Nigeria and shall ensure that it remains focused on its core mandate of sustaining the stability in the FX market. That's a statement signed by the Director of Corporate Communications, Isaac Okorafor, early today, just getting the market starting off. The Central Bank of Nigeria denying and asking the media to provide details of allegations that there is a racket in FX market, getting the naira dollar at 306 naira to a US dollar. The central bank says these faceless agents are denied and do not exist in collusion with any official of the central bank. That's a statement from the Central Bank of Nigeria saying the allegations are unfounded. Of course, the big story for Nigeria is always about infrastructure, one of the most talked about economic issues for the country. A country of nearly 200 million people that is expanding by the day, putting pressure on existing infrastructure while new ones are being built. But what is the future of infrastructure of Nigeria in the mid to long term, and what is the nexus between good infrastructure and economic growth and development? Live from our Abuja studios is the Cabinet Minister in charge of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN. Good morning, Honorable Minister, and we thank you for coming on the show today. We know this is a very busy time for you, and it's the first business day of the week, so we understand and we appreciate your coming here for this exclusive interview. But first, give us a brief insight into how much infrastructure gap has been closed since you assumed office 4 years ago.
Well, I think the first thing to say is that for the first time in a long time, I can tell you that road construction is going on in all 36 states of the country. At least there is one road being built connecting one state to the other. In some states there are 3, in some states there are 8, in some states there are 5. But what you used to hear before, that there is no federal presence in our states, you haven't had that lately, because if we're not building a road in your state, we are building a housing estate. If we're not building a housing estate, we're intervening in your transmission systems or your injection distribution system, or the rail is coming through your state, or there's a water works or water project through Ministry of Water Resources in your state. Let me be very clear. The commitment to infrastructure is perhaps the most sensible decision any government in this country has made immediately after the Civil War. And that was really the basis of our initial prosperity after the war. Commitment to radical infrastructure, and we stopped. And so, as our population grew, the stock of infrastructure became insufficient to support the economy. So, 40 minutes journey became 10 hours. Sometimes people slept on the road. So, this is a sensible decision to make, not only to ease the cost of doing business, not only to ease the cost of goods and services, but also to make the economy globally competitive and efficient. And so with the rail coming, with new airports being completed, with roads coming, you will see, as we go down the line, competitiveness in pricing and efficiency of services. Manufacturing will pick up, jobs will come, because there will be demand for employment. If factories can move goods 4 times quicker than they used to, they will expand.
Honorable Minister, you begin to talk about where folks would want to see what is the benefit of infrastructure. Nigerians can see good roads and they love to drive on it. But again, tying this to job creation, we look at the high rate of unemployment. We look at the government on the other side, looking at the ease of doing business and our competitiveness ranking with the World Bank and the World Economic Forum, and also what you call the quality of life. How soon do you think what is being done presently will materialize or will turn into this socio-economic health benefit for the country?
Now, all of the jobs you see about global competitiveness and all of that are not today's figures. They are historic figures. And until the infrastructure is completed, those numbers will not change. But I am convinced by the choice that this administration has made that those numbers will change. Now, in terms of how that ties to the economy, if you go back to history of global economics, starting from 1929 after the Wall Street crash, the solution to bringing America out of recession and accelerating growth was infrastructure. Immediately after the World War II, from 1948, the solution for rebuilding the whole of Europe was the Marshall Plan, and they haven't stopped. In the 1990s, China has become the global power that it became, with many construction companies all over the world now, simply because they committed first to building their own infrastructure, gain knowledge inside which they are exporting to the whole world. In the year 2000, you have seen the same story in the Middle East, in the United Arab Emirates. So infrastructure is common sense. Now, how does this tie to jobs? Let me give you one or two projects. On the second Niger Bridge alone, we will require 644 tons of aggregates. That is stones, concrete, and all of that to mix the cement. We will require 4 million cubic meters of sand. That is a lot of dredging work with plant and machinery working. We require 68,000 tons of cement, and I think 28,000 tons of iron rod. We require 19 million liters of diesel. So if you don't see manufacturing and supply of diesel, manufacturing of cement, mining of the aggregates, mining of limestone to make cement, then you don't see an economy. The Mambila project that we are planning to start will require 18 million bags of cement to build, 18 million tons of aggregate, and I think 42,000 tons of reinforcement. Now, we already have application by over 125 companies asking to participate. Banks, insurance companies, logistics companies, security companies, heavy equipment companies, transport companies. Just 2 days ago, I received the most interesting one. A food packaging company is already asking to be considered as one of the people to supply food during the construction. So you see the economy all tying to infrastructure. And this is where jobs come in. This steel has to be manufactured. The cement has to be manufactured. It has to be bagged. It has to be transported. Transporting 18 million bags of cement will require, I think, 22,000 trucks to do so at 800 bags per truck. So it's either you do 22,000 trips or you use 22,000 trucks. And that's an amazing economic opportunity for jobs, for transportation, for logistics, for manufacturing, and the entire value chain, even for mining. And this keys in with the diversification plan that was committed to at the inception of this economy, to move away from rent, to move to sufficiency in what we eat, to move to sufficiency in what we use, to move to a massive infrastructure renewal and redevelopment. And all of the pieces are fitting in. So if people persevere, the benefits, I already see them on the horizon. Those who know economics are already positioning to say, this is where I want to be.